What up, guys? Now, this is called Kingdom Come. It's only the first two booklets, but this was actually made into a graphic novel. Well, it was a graphic novel, but this one's divided up. I just want to give you a little quick background into my nerd credentials. Well, I would say between 1984 and 1997, I was a very avid reader of Superman comic books. I also read other comic books too, like Silver Surfer and Thor, but Superman was always my favorite comic book hero. I loved DC. Occasionally I did read Marvel comics as well. But yeah, I even had the famous Superman comic book where he raced against the Flash. This is a very old comic book. I had that one. I had a lot of really awesome Superman comics. Even the comic where he gets killed by Doomsday. Now, this is all comic book stuff. I've also watched every single DC animated film. Well, for the most part. I still haven't seen Justice League versus Teen Titans yet, and I still haven't seen Throne of Atlantis. But aside from those two, I've seen every DC animated film. I've seen all of the live-action movies by Warner Bros. And all the other DC movies as well. And I need to tell you something right now. I loved Man of Steel. That was Zack Snyder's Superman movie a few years ago. I thought that was one of the best movies ever made in terms of comic book history. In fact, it's probably my favorite comic book movie ever. So I want to give you that background before I go into my review of Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. So I'm going to tell you right off the bat, okay, that overall I did like the movie Batman vs. Superman, but I didn't love it. I didn't love it like Man of Steel, and there's a lot of reasons why. If you read all the the critiques on Rotten Tomatoes or all the other professional critiques out there, they're not entirely true, but they're not entirely false either. A lot of the big criticisms is that the movie is a big mess. I think a mess is a strong word. Or is it? It is kind of jumbled. It's kind of incoherent. And the direction is kind of all over the place. And my criticism of the movie, I'll name all the bad things and I'll name all the good things. So it is kind of incoherent. Some scenes don't really flow well together. And the pacing is horrendous. Now, it's not the fact that it's a 2.5-hour movie. That has nothing to do with it. The fact is the pacing is really, really slow. It takes a long time to get to anything. Mind you, I've seen a lot of really long movies. I've seen like 10 Commandments starring Charlton Heston, English Patient. What's to say? I've seen a lot of really long movies. So length is not the reason why I think the movie's slow. The movie's slow because of the pacing. It's really freaking slow. And remember, I loved Man of Steel. I thought the pacing in that movie was fantastic. It was a great movie. So there's some other things I didn't like about the movie. Lex Luthor, the actor, oh my gosh, I forgot his name already. I liked the actor, but I didn't like the direction that they took with him. I wasn't feeling Lex Luthor at all. I was feeling the Joker, to be honest. Like, he was kind of eccentric, and it seemed like he was trying to be funny. And in that regard, I was getting a sense that he was trying to channel Joker when he should have been channeling Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is a lot more calm and more collected. The reason why he's Superman's equal is because of his intelligence. And I didn't really get the sense that he was really that intelligent in the movie. I got the sense that he was kind of delusional, eccentric, not Lex Luthor. A lot of people are saying that the guy from Smallville would have been a better Lex Luthor. Rosenbaum, is that his name, Rosenbaum? He's definitely my favorite Lex Luthor portrayed in TV or film. But I think, Jesse Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg would have been a great Lex Luthor had he been directed better. Had they told him who Lex Luthor really was and not that he was the Joker, because I really got the sense that he was the Joker. So there was that criticism. Another big criticism, and this goes to every character in this movie, I felt like none of the characters were fleshed out that well, especially Lex Luthor, especially Wonder Woman, who you see in the trailer. Now, if you see Man of Steel, you don't really need to see Superman fleshed out, so in that regard, he can get away with it. Batman, I guess they did a better job fleshing him out. Some other bad things. I felt like there was just too much happening in the movie. It felt really jumbled, really garbled. I think they introduced too many characters, and I think they should have been a lot more focused, like Man of Steel was. I guess that's my biggest criticism of this movie, is that the movie was not focused at all. It was here, it was there, it was everywhere. And I think they should have just stayed more focused on it. Yeah, if you've seen the trailers, you're going to see all these different villains and characters, and you're going to be thinking, wow, how are they going to accomplish that? And that was the big problem. They didn't really accomplish that, unfortunately. I just thought so many scenes that could have been powerful on their own, they got weakened by the other scenes. The whole Batman versus Superman fight was okay, but I felt like I didn't feel like the build-up was there to get us to that scene. And after that, where where they get to the where they confront Lex Luthor, that's going to happen. I felt like they jumped from one point to the other, like they went from point A to point C without going to point B, if you know what I mean. I just don't think the director did a good job of explaining how he got from one point to the next. That was a very big problem with the movie for me. And a lot of the motivations for the characters, I wasn't feeling it, especially Lex Luthor. I didn't really understand why he was so against Superman and Batman, or especially against Superman. Like, it just wasn't fleshed out that well. So those are my major gripes with the movie, and that's a big reason why I thought this movie wasn't great like Man of Steel. Man of Steel was a lot more focused. I got a sense for all the characters like General Zod, Superman, all of them. But with Batman vs. Superman, I did not get that feeling. So let's talk about the good things. First off, I've been saying this ever since they announced Ben Affleck as Batman. He's going to be a great Batman. Like, watch his movies. He's a great actor. I don't see why people were bashing him without having seen the movie. Like, I remember watching the first Tim Burton Batman movie. Everybody was bashing Michael Keaton without having seen the movie, but afterward, people were saying, "Oh man, Michael Keaton's the best." Same thing with Heath Ledger as Joker in the Dark Knight trilogy. My gosh, guys, give the guy a freaking chance before you bash him. Jeez, people they don't hold history in high regard. I do. So next time an actor is announced for a movie, give him a chance first. Like, I gave Jesse Eisenberg a chance to be Lex Luthor. Unfortunately, he kind of failed me there. But Ben Affleck did not. Ben Affleck was freaking awesome as Batman. Henry Cavill, he seems so good-natured, and he looks like Superman, so that's a great casting choice as well. So casting for Batman and Superman were awesome. The Wonder Woman girl was pretty awesome, but again, they didn't really flesh out her character that much either. In fact, they didn't really flesh her out at all. But I understand that she's going to get a standalone movie, so maybe they can do it then. Unfortunately, they came out with this movie first, so when you see Wonder Woman, it's kind of weak, to be honest. She's really cool, but if she had that backstory to her, she would have been really cool. Some other good things. The soundtrack's awesome. It's freaking Hans Zimmer. A lot of the music that you did use was from Man of Steel. Like, if you remember Man of Steel or Superman's... Hold on. I'll make sure I'm still recording. All right. I still have a minute, 25 seconds left. Okay, the soundtrack was awesome. The movie is beautiful. It is a gorgeous film. Like, the movie's greatest strength are the visuals. It's a gorgeous film. And what I like about these DC movies is that they really... they aspire to be more than just, like sitcom dialogue like some other comic book movies, which are fun, but they kind of get stale really fast. And the characters are all awesome, like Batman, Superman. I mean, if you know their back history, if you were ever a fan of the comic books, you would love these guys. I think this movie would be more appealing to comic book fans than movie fans, and that was my big problem. I needed both elements to be working for me. It was a great comic book movie, but it wasn't a great movie, if you know what I mean. But anyways, I better end this movie. I do want to say I did like it, but it wasn't as great as Man of Steel, not even close. The movie needs to be more focused. I hope they do a better job with the standalone movies, and I hope they do a better job with the Justice League movies. And I think my time is up with this review. I hope it was helpful. Definitely go see the movie. I'm going to watch it again just to give it a second chance. I think this is the kind of film that stands better with a second or third time viewing. So thank you so much for watching this, and thank you so much, Warner Bros., for making this movie a possibility. I hope to see better and more improved version next time, though.